Hey house guests, welcome to today's Big Brother 21 updates and spoilers. I feel like I'm not level today. I feel like this is a little bit off, but we're gonna go with it. So our house guest of the day is Carla Stuckey. Carla, thank you so much for the adorable card and for your support. We could not do this without you, so we appreciate it so much. And Carla has a question. She wants to know, if someone is eliminated before a jury, do they just go home? Yes. Unless there is some sort of battle back situation or something, they'll be sequestered, and then once that's done, they go home. So like if you don't make the jury and there's nothing fun happening, you just go. All right, so thank you again so much. And if you guys want to be house guest of the day like Carla, check out our Patreon link in the info box below or send us some mail. Okay, so last night we saw Kat was evicted by a vote of 6-1, and the show ended with the HOH competition in progress, and it was slip and slide. So when the feeds came back, it was very clear that Jackson was going way faster than everyone else. Christie, Nick, and Holly were keeping up with him pretty well for a while. They were doing okay. I feel like there weren't as many falls this season as there have been in the past. Jess had it looked like a rough fall because she was like, and I was scared that she hit her head, but she was okay. She started making Crisco angels. Sis had a few falls. I think Nick had a pretty bad fall. Did Nicole fall? I can't even remember. But anyway, it didn't take long for Jackson to start pulling ahead of everyone else as the other people slowed down and got tired. So his foot was bothering him because he had that previous injury. But he wasn't gonna let that stop him. He was saying things like, I need that key more than I need a foot. And your body is an object, treat it as such. And one of my favorites, rest is for the weak. Oh my god. So then at one point he even took off his pants because they were bothering him. I think his like suspender things got messed up, so they were like falling down, so he was like, forget it, I'm taking them off. He was in his undies. So then Christie, seeing that Jackson was gonna win this thing, was like, oh Jackson, you've talked about winning this competition for weeks. Sounds like a manifestation to me. And Jackson responds, sounds like a man with a job to do. Ah! And judging by what he's said the last few weeks, I think that job is to take out Christie. Ah! So this competition lasted just about an hour, and Jackson won HOH. Holly was the next one behind him. She was, you know, pretty far behind him. And then Christie was next after Holly. I gotta say, I never thought that I would be so excited for a Jackson HOH. Oh my god! But honestly, he is likely going to shake things up this week. This is what we need. So yeah, after the competition was over, Cliff kept going. He wanted to see this thing through. He wanted to finish it, and he's like, y'all can turn the lights off. I'm not quitting this until I'm forced to. And he also apologized to Kat, and he said, I did what I had to do to stay in the game. I think that's valid. I think Kat took things a little too personally. But anyway, that's really nice that Cliff wanted to finish this thing, but production needs to break down the set and start getting the POV comp ready, right? So I don't know if they let him finish it because the feeds went off before he was done, and I'm assuming they sent him inside. Okay, but anyway, after the feeds come back, Tommy and Nick are talking in the camping bedroom, and Tommy says, look, Kat dropped some info bombs on me before she left, and she told me that you were trying to get me nominated next to Jack during Jess's HOH week, which is true. Nick was definitely saying that Tommy should go up as a pawn so that he could vote out Jack without picking a side. He didn't admit that last part, but he was trying to get Tommy up there as a pawn. He was like, that would guarantee that Jack goes. But really, remember, it would cover up that Nick was siding with the Jackson crew, because if it was Tommy versus Jack, then it would be two people from the same side, and he wouldn't have to show his cards to everybody. So, of course, Nick is denying this. He's like, no, I didn't have any say with Jess. Like, no, that's ridiculous. So Tommy's like, I don't care. It's irrelevant. It's not gonna affect us moving forward. I feel like Nick could straight up murder somebody in front of Tommy and Tommy would be like, that's just Nick. What? No, I love him. I'm obsessed with him. I don't understand why he is so attached to Nick. It just blows my mind. So Nick says, well, like, I care because I don't want you to think that I was trying to get you up on the block. But he was. And he says, Jess was trying to put me up. I didn't have any say that week. You sure tried it though. Okay, so then Nick says, as he always does, that he is loyal to Tommy, Sis, and Nicole. So don't forget it. So then Nick is asking Tommy, if I go up on the block, would you use the veto on me? And Tommy says, I'd have to think about it. I don't know. Ooh. But he tells Nick, like, I don't think you're going up anyway, so don't sweat it right now. Okay, so then Nicole was alone in the have-not room and she's crying. Why? What happened? So she says, maybe I'm too sensitive. Maybe what I think is right and morally correct is not. She says, I'm not a quitter. I would never quit, ever. And she says she's so freaking pissed off. She's crying because she should have just told him told him off in the storage room, but she didn't because she's smart and that's just not her. It wasn't worth it. Who is this him? I have some more information about this that I'm going to share with you guys in a little bit. I want to stay chronological here, but I'm still also confused because she's saying him, but the info that I have is a her. I don't know, but apparently something went down in the storage room after the feeds went down, but before the live show. So Nicole is not happy about it, and she says she's crying because she's holding in anger, sadness, and frustration, and burps. She's like, oh, excuse me. So that's rough. But anyway, we're gonna come back to Nicole in a little bit. So then Holly and Jackson were in the boat lounge, and they set themselves up crotch to crotch for their strategy talk. It's like they're plugging in a light bulb or something. So anyway, yeah. Holly says she's gonna support whatever Jackson wants to do this week. And Jackson says he's ready to make some moves, take some shots, and right some wrongs. What's he gonna do? So he says he wants Christie gone. So now he's gotta decide if he's gonna put her straight up or backdoor her. What is the best way to execute this plan? So then Holly's like, yes, I'm all for it. But she's asking, say Christie comes down with the power veto, who is your secondary target? And Jackson says it would be Sis or Tommy. So, sorry, no. Holly, I'm getting ahead of myself. Holly's asking, would it be Sis or Tommy? And Jackson says it would be Sis because he already promised Tommy, Cliff, and Nick that he would not put any of them up this week if he were to win HOH, which he did. So Holly's like, okay, cool, sounds great. So then Holly is also saying Nicole should probably be safe this week too because she said that she wants to work with people that she respects, and she respects us, so that works. And Nicole almost flipped her vote to keep Cad. She almost went with us. We should see if there is something there. You know, we could probably pull her in and work with her. So Jackson's like, okay. He says that the deal with the 5, meaning the former 6 shooters, is off because he heard some of them talking the night before about how it would be 6 versus 2 in the HOH competition, everybody versus Holly and Jackson, and that's it. It's over. It's done. All right, so they're going over some nominations options, and Jackson's like, okay, I could put up Jess and Sis. You know, my reasoning for Jess could be it's a tit for tat thing because she put me up. She will be a pawn. And I could also say it's because of the blow up that happened where everything came out about the Final Six deal and Jess saying that Holly was a mean girl, all that stuff. And then for Sis, he could tell her, I'm just trying to keep the 5 under wraps. Ah! Okay. And then he could backdoor Christie. So Jackson says, you know what? I don't care if I'm out next. I don't care if this move gets me evicted. I just want Christie out. If I can get her out, I'm fine with whatever happens after that. Damn, he's got that tunnel vision. So then Holly is saying, you know what? I think it would be really dangerous to have Jess still up on the block on Thursday because she is a vote on our side. We need to make sure that we have the votes to get rid of Christie, and it doesn't make sense to have somebody up there who would vote with us. So we might need to rethink this. So Holly suggests, what if you put up Nick and Sis? I would love it. Jackson says, I already told Nick that I wouldn't put him up, so I don't feel like I should do that. But Jackson says it might have to be straight up Christie and Sis. So he says it would draw a line in the sand, not a lion. It would draw a line in the sand, but they hung me out to dry, and I don't owe them anything, so game on. So then they talk about how they felt really bad voting out Kat, and Holly's upset that they couldn't figure something out to save her. She said it really made her feel like a bad player because she couldn't, you know, figure out a way to keep her, but you can only do so much, right? Okay, so then Jackson and Cliff had a quick chat in the bathroom area, and Jackson is talking again about how he overheard Sis and Christie talking to Jess last night, and Chris and Sissy and Sis and Christie were saying that it would be 6 versus 2 in the HOH competition. Jackson and Holly have nobody. They have nothing, and they don't win competitions, so it's gonna be great. They're gonna take them out. Okay, so obviously Jackson's like, look who finished 1st and 2nd in the HOH competition. So Cliff is telling Jackson, look, I understand if you want to put me up this week. I totally get it. It's okay. And Jackson says, you know what? I might put you up as a front, but you would not be my target. And Jackson also gives his word that he would not nominate Cliff if there was any chance that he would go. He does not want Cliff to go this week because he wants Christie to go. So Cliff owns up to the deal that he made, that if he won HOH, he was supposed to target Jackson and put him up with Holly. And Jackson's like, I understand. It's a game move. You have to do what you gotta do. So it's fine. It is what it is. And then Cliff is like, you know, I know I'm not in any position to be making suggestions here or anything, but I just ask that you leave Nicole out of all this. She got dragged through the mud, and I feel so sorry for everything that she had to deal with. And Jackson says, yeah, I will do that. You know, I'll leave her out of it. All right. So then Christie and Sis, aka Sisty, we just get their names mixed up. I should just call them Sisty when they're together. They were in the boat lounge, and Christie says it would be stupid for Jackson to put one of them up because they'll have the votes to stay. She's just assuming that only one of them would go up on the block. And Sis says, yeah, he would have to put up 2 of the former 6 shooters to ensure that one of them goes. Yeah, and that's a possibility. It's a very, very strong possibility. So Christie says that she just hopes that Tommy is going to be able to talk sense into Jackson and Holly and guide Jackson in the right direction to put up Jess and Cliff. Oh my god, that is hilarious. You think that he is gonna use this HOH to put up Jess and Cliff? Oh, stop. Okay, so, you know, he has a reason to put up Jess because she wants to take out guys, and Cliff because he made the deals with everybody to stay, and they're just like, I don't know what Jackson's gonna do. But Christie is scared, she's nervous, she's feeling like she could be going up on the block. But they think it's also a possibility that he'll target Nick because Nick is working with everyone. So they really have no idea what Jackson's gonna do, and he is not giving them any indication. So Sis is then saying she feels like she's hitting a wall in the game, and she wants to go home, and she hates everyone, and blah. I mean, it must be really hard just like not doing anything all day, every day, right? Yeah, okay, so eventually Tommy joins them, and he says, I feel good this week. Good for you. I mean, honestly, he made a deal with Jackson last week to, you know, that he would be safe. So he has every right to feel safe, I guess, but it seems like he doesn't care so much that his allies are in the shitter this week. So he was kind of, you know, wondering, did he make the right choice getting rid of Kat this week? But he's like, yeah, you know what? Getting rid of Kat really disarmed everyone else except for us. So it was a good move. I shouldn't worry about it. Okay, so then they're talking about nominations, and Christie's nervous that she's gonna go up. Sis the parrot repeats that, and Tommy's like, oh, Sis, I don't think you're gonna go up. You don't have to worry about it. He does not say the same for Christie. So then Christie is saying she hopes that Nick is gonna be a bigger target than her because he's the one that set up the deal for them with Cliff, which is true. And at the same time, he was telling Jackson and Holly that they're good, you know, I got your back, but he was setting up their demise. So then Tommy is saying, I think that Jackson's gonna put up 2 people from the Final 6 deal because, of course he doesn't call it like the Final 6 deal because they're all trying to act like it wasn't supposed to be a Final 6 alliance thing, whatever. But he says if Jess was up on the block with one of them, they would just vote her out because they're gonna stick to the deal and get rid of Jess. So he's like, oh my god, now he wants to stick with this 6. There is something, I don't know if Tommy's like really into numerology or what, but he seems really fixated on working with a 6, no matter who it is. So Christie's like, oh, do you think it could be Nicole and Cliff? You know, they're in that 6, and it's not us. And Tommy's like, yeah, I don't think Jackson is gonna target Cliff because Cliff has made deals with them before, and Jackson could just make a new deal with him, and he's probably gonna want to leave Cliff in the game so that Cliff and Tommy will go after each other. Okay, so Christie says, you know what, I'm not gonna pitch anything to Jackson, but Nick is the best person for him to go after. So then Tommy says, I'm gonna do whatever I can this week to keep you guys safe, but I want Jackson to make his decision. It's his HOH. Screw you guys, I'm safe this week. Okay, so then it's time for Jackson's HOH room reveal, and everyone online was joking that it was gonna be a room full of watermelons, and guess what? It kind of was. I guess he only had like a few requests that he wanted in his basket, so he got like a lot of the things that he did request. So there was like a tray full of watermelons on the HOH bed. There was one in that big like vase pot thing. There was one on the little table. It's everywhere. He got watermelon flavored lip balm, some other cream watermelon flavored. He got pictures of his family and his dog, snacks, a Pop TV hoodie, Quest bars, which he was really excited about, a Tennessee t-shirt, beer, and a letter from his dad. And his dad said, I hope the kitchen is staying stocked there. Oh my god. He also said, I had a watermelon today and thought of you. His music was, or is, Curtain Call by Eminem. Yeah, all right. So I don't want you guys to mistake my giddiness. I just want to put a disclaimer out there. I don't want you to mistake my giddiness for Jackson's HOH this week for me rooting for him, because that is not the case. But I'm just excited that a shot will be taken at the other 6 shooters. And as far as I'm concerned, like after this week, Jackson can go. That's fine. But I want to see that other group broken up. Okay, so anyway, Most people were putting off their one-on-ones with Jackson because they're tired from the competition and from being up so late before the night before, and they're just like all emotionally drained as well, so they're gonna wait on that. But Jess did chat with Holly and Jackson because let's be real, the night before she was spilling gallons of Holly tea to Sis, so she's got to cover her ass now. She's got to bandage this up as quickly as possible. So they are discussing the cat vote, and Jackson and Holly are saying that they knew that the votes were not going to be there for Cat's Day, and they knew that they were on everybody else's shit list. So they didn't want to put the final nail in their coffin by voting for Cat to stay, just in case somebody else won HOH. You know, they wanted to at least be able to say like, we voted with everybody else, so that's why they did that. So then Jess is telling them all about what happened the night before, how Nicole told her about the final 6 deal, and it seemed like Nicole was gonna vote with them and keep Cat, and then Jess wasn't sure why Nicole flipped back. So now we get a little more insight into what Nicole was talking about the storage room and somebody being mean to her, blah, blah, blah. So Jackson said that Nicole was all upset because apparently Kat told her in the storage room that she would be a disappointment to her family and letting down her students if she let Nick continue to run her game. What the F? So Jackson was like, I don't know if that is actually what Kat said, or if like Nicole just took things really personally, because it doesn't sound like something that Kat would say. And normally I would agree, like that doesn't seem like something that Kat would say to Nicole. But at the same time, Kat was really unraveling in the last 24 hours or so. So I feel like maybe she did say that to Nicole in desperation. That's messed up. So after that, Nicole was really upset. She was like sobbing. So Jackson says that was probably what sealed the deal for Nicole to vote Kat out. Okay, so I still don't understand though how he factors into this, because I could have sworn Nicole said that she let him yell at her. I don't know. So maybe there were other people involved. Who knows? But hopefully we will see that on Sunday's episode. We'll see. Okay, so then Holly brings up with Jess how Jess was telling Sis all the stuff and, you know, calling her a mean girl and throwing her under the bus. And Jess says, I didn't tell her all of anything. What? So they're discussing all the mean girl stuff, how Holly was saying that, or Jess was saying that Holly was saying that Sis was laughing at Cliff during that power veto competition. Sis was flirting with Jackson, blah, blah, blah. They're going through all the stuff and hashing it out. And Holly says, you know, hearing this really threw her for a loop, because these are things that Holly has talked about with Jess in confidence. So she was pretty shocked that Jess was spilling this information to Sis. So Jess apologizes for that. She's like, you know what? I'm really sorry, because I was a little bit out of character yesterday. Usually I would not throw people under the bus like that. But honestly, she basically says, like, I just felt like blowing some shit up. So I was in a weird mood. Sorry. She says, like, I genuinely do apologize for that. So then they're like, cool. And they got bigger fish to fry. So then Jackson's like, I have one question for you. Can I count on your vote this week? You know, will you vote the way I want you to? And Jess says, you know what? I will take it one step further for you. If I win the next HOH, I will not put you guys up. So I guess she agreed to vote the way he wants. So Jackson's like, you know what? That's great. You don't even have to talk to me tomorrow. He didn't say it like in a mean way. I know it sounds like you don't even have to talk to me. But no, it was like, you don't even have to worry about talking to me. We're good. It's all water under the bridge. Just act stressed and paranoid and like you don't know what's going on, and that's great. Okay. So then Jackson and Holly were talking alone, and Jackson's like, I was doing the math. It's a lot of math. He says, I just need 3 votes to carry out my plan this week to get rid of Christie. So if we've got, you know, you, Jess, and Nicole, that's all we need, and then I can break the tie and Christie is gone. So then Jackson's still trying to figure out the best way to go after Christie. Now he's thinking, you know what, maybe I should put up Cliff as a pawn, because he's not sure how Cliff would vote. You know, Cliff made these deals with people last week, this like final 6 deal or whatever. He doesn't know exactly what that deal entails. Is it just like, if I won HOH, I wouldn't put you up? Or is it like, if you're up on the block, I won't vote you out? So he's not really sure if Cliff is gonna be tied to some deal to keep like Christie safe. So Holly says, you know what? If we're gonna draw the line in the sand like that and go after Christie, and we're gonna move forward with Jess and Nicole, I'd really like to have Cliff with us too. So I don't know if it's a good idea to put him up on the block and risk him going. So Jackson's like, I get what you're saying, but I'm just not sure about Cliff's vote. I mean, you should probably talk to him, right? So in my opinion, in my armchair quarterback opinion, I feel like Cliff's vote, yes, is a question mark. It could go either way. Sis's vote is absolute. You know that she's not gonna want Christie or Tommy to go, or Nick. Like, she's gonna want to keep her peeps safe. So you may as well just put her up, because you know which way her vote is going, and you're already drawing the line anyway if you go after Christie, so she's gonna be pissed at you either way. And if you keep Cliff off the block, it's a sign of good faith that you want to move forward together. So I really think it would be a mistake to put Cliff up. But anyway, some other stuff from last night. Cliff and Jess, oh wait, also, like, have they not learned their lesson from when Holly was HOH and they put up Kat as a pawn and she almost left? Yeah. Okay, so other stuff. Cliff and Jess spoke and cleared the air because, you know, there was some tension because of everything that went down with the deal that didn't include Jess and Kat being all upset. So they're like, whoa, things got pretty crazy back there. So Cliff says he did what he had to do to survive. He's sorry, and they agree. It's a game, you know, no hard feelings. It's gonna be okay. All right, so in other news, like I said before, Tommy is now apparently super into this 6 deal that he didn't even want to make last week. He's saying if one of us is up on the block with Jess, then we're gonna have to vote out Jess. That's all there is to it. Okay, so he says we only vote out one of our own if 2 of us are up on the block. All right, Tommy. Sounds good. Okay, so back to Jackson and Holly. It seems like at this point he wants to put up Cliff and Christie, and if Christie comes down with the veto, Sis or Tommy will go up in her place. And he will tell Sis or Tommy before the POV ceremony, if either of you guys, like, if either of them win, he's gonna tell them, look, if you use the veto on Christie, the other one of you is going up. Like, one of those 3 is going. Woo! Okay, so this morning, Jackson has decided, he was like, you know what, I was thinking about it a lot last night, and he's decided he's just gonna put up Christie and Sis. And he said, screw it, I'm gonna shoot my shot. There's a good chance that both of them would get to play in the veto anyway. So this will guarantee that at least one of them will be up on the block still on Thursday. And then he's saying if one of them comes down, Cliff can be the replacement nominee if necessary. And they won't have to worry about, you know, Cliff or Nicole or Nick or anybody doing like weird votes because of this final 6 deal, because 2 people from that group will be up on the block, so it won't matter. Basically, just don't nominate Holly or Jess and you don't have to worry about that. So then Holly's saying, okay, cool, we need to make sure that we have Jess, Nicole, and Cliff moving forward. We need to set something up with them so that we're not going to be screwed after this. Okay, so then it was time for some one-on-ones in the HOH with Jackson. So here's some highlights. So Tommy was in there first thing this morning. His was actually a 2-on-1 with Holly present. Actually, it was Jackson, Tommy, and Holly all together in the HOH bed. So Tommy was straight up lying. He was like, I don't know who was planning on putting you guys up. Everyone said that they were throwing the HOH comp. Is that supposed to be good, because that just shows that these people that are supposedly aligned with Jackson and Holly were wanting to throw this HOH competition so that somebody else could take them out. Why else would they throw the competition? Unless that was the case. So that looks pretty bad. But he also says that he didn't want Kat out specifically to weaken Jackson and Holly. He says she was working with everyone except for him, so that's why he did what he did. That's actually pretty true. I mean, he did want to weaken Jackson and Holly for sure, but I think he also saw that Kat was aligned with a lot of people, and he was not one of them. So Jackson tells Tommy, I'm not putting you up, but he doesn't share his plan with Tommy. Okay, so then Cliff was next, and now it's just one-on-ones from here on out. So Cliff is telling Jackson about the whole like 6-person deal, not alliance, deal, and he says, I did not come up with this. This was brought to me, and they told me, like, if you want to stay, take this deal. So he said I had to take it to survive, and it's only a 1-week thing. They set it up because they were scared that it was going to be a double eviction, and they wanted protection from that. So Cliff promises his vote to Jackson, but he admits he would have a hard time voting out Nicole if that's what Jackson wants to do. Aw. And Jackson says, you won't have to do that. I want to work with you, Nicole, Jess, and Holly. Okay, cool. So then Nicole's up there, and Jackson's telling her, you and Cliff are not my targets. I want to work with you guys. But he does let her know that she could potentially go up as a replacement nominee after the power of veto, but he would only do it if he knew that she was definitely, absolutely 100% going to be safe. So Nicole also promises her vote to Jackson. Okay, Sis goes up there. She says that she has always had Jackson and Holly's backs. And she says something important. She does confirm that Cliff did not come up with the deal. It was Nick. Okay, so Christie goes up there. She says over and over, it wasn't an alliance, it was a deal. I don't want you guys to think that we made an alliance without you. It was just a deal. Yeah, to go after you. So Jackson tells her whatever happens this week, it's not gonna be personal. All right, and Nick was also talking to Jackson, and Jackson says, we're good this week. We'll talk more after the nominations. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. So after all of the conversations, he also touched base with Jess, but it wasn't anything like new. So Jackson touches base with Holly, and he says he's still planning on putting up Christie and Sis. Woo woo! And they now know that Nick was the one that came up with the final 6 plan. They are not pleased with that. And they say he's gonna have to go soon, but they need to get rid of Christie first. You know, first things first. So then, also today, Sis and Sissy, they were crying a bunch. Yeah, because they always cry like this and say that they're ready to go and ready to go to jury, blah, 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 when they're not in power or when they're not in the loop. Isn't it funny how it always happens during those weeks? I mean, Christie breaks down all the time, but especially when they're not in power. So, in other news, Sis is done with her chicken punishment just in time for the nomination ceremony. So as expected, Jackson put up Christie and Sis. So we'll have all the fallout from that and the power veto competition tomorrow. I'm interested to see how they react to this. I haven't seen too much of it yet because I started filming this like pretty soon after the nomination ceremony was over, but also I saw that Holly was in the same room with Christie and Sis, so they couldn't really talk bad about Jackson yet, but I'm sure lots will be coming out. So let me know what you guys think in the comments about all this. I'll see you tomorrow, and until then, much love.